see a lot of people in this bull market jumping from narrative to narrative. Every day they're investing in a new narrative. The first day it's AI, then they jump from AI to file storage, then they jump from file storage to something else. And I think that that's the best way to get wrecked in this bull market. I think that what you need to do is you need to choose the narratives that you want to play for the entire bull market. You need to place your chips on the table, and then you need to ride it to Valhalla and make life-changing money. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a portfolio with the best narratives, and I'm going to show you the best tokens in each one of those narratives. And ultimately what we'll get is we'll get the top 20 coins for this bull market that are going to make you rich. You don't need to invest in all 20. In fact, you probably only need to invest in 5 to 10 of them to make life-changing money in this bull market. Then I want to talk about something else, something that I'm very unhappy about. Okay, because you see, I'm getting wrecked. I took a bet against the Nvidia earnings. I took a short on Singularity and on WorldCoin, and now I'm $50,000 down on my Singularity short, and I'm down another 17,000 on my WorldCoin short because I took a bet against Nvidia. But there's a lesson here. I'm going to tell you why I made this mistake, and then I'm also going to teach you how to get out of this mess, because we need to get out of this mess. So today's going to be a very, very, very crazy show. Let's do it, guys. Let's go. Don't you guys also start about this crocodile, okay? Don't you guys also start about this crocodile. Ever since I got to the office today, everybody's ripping me off about the size of the crocodile. If you don't understand the size of this crocodile, you don't have any taste in clothes, just like everyone else in this office who knows nothing about clothes. I mean, you should see the way they dress, and they still come here and comment about my crocodile. Okay, if you don't understand this crocodile, then I'm not going to explain it to you. But now what's happened is, they want to style me at the office. I've given them like a couple of $1,000s, and I've said, you know what, if you think that you can dress me better than I dress myself, well then you guys decide. You guys can do it. So we'll keep you updated. We need you guys to vote. This is outfit number 1. So you see, I'm wearing nice jeans. I'm wearing Adidas Samba shoes. And I'm wearing this big oversized crocodile shirt. Funny enough, it's not actually even a Lacoste shirt, but it's a big oversized crocodile shirt. Let me know what you rate the outfit out of 10, and then you'll keep rating it, and we'll decide whether I dress myself better or whether these crazy people in the office actually dress me better. All right, let's get to the order of the day. Lots of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about the top 20 coins in this that you need to get to make life-changing money in this bull market. And let me tell you, these coins are going to change your life. This is probably the most comprehensive list I've ever put together, and we're going to build a portfolio with it. So today's going to be huge. Before we start, let's get into some formalities. So first of all, remember that if you want to join 𝗕𝗤𝗕𝗧's free trading school, you have 5 days, 22 hours, 34 minutes, 45 seconds to get in. I think there's a limited number of spaces. I think there's like 500 spaces, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look here. Let's just quickly see how many, if we can see it. If you wanna join the 𝗏𝗏𝗀 school, you go to this link over here. Click here. This means that Run sent you, and that means that you're going to get part of the 500 spots. Remember, guys, this course should cost $3,000. You're getting it for free, as long as you sign up using this link and you do it as quickly as possible. So with those formalities out of the way, I think we're going to get the alpha underway. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe like mofos, tap like mofos if you're not already tapping like mofos. And if you've tapped and you subscribed, then smash the like button like mofos, and let's get the alpha on the road today, because there's 40 tokens that we're going to be talking about today. I have a spreadsheet for you. Here's the spreadsheet, 40 tokens, broken up into sober run, degen run, and then some outliers that we're going to talk about. So we really got to get that. But remember, it's 100 likes per token. That means we need 4,000 likes, which is going to be, it's going to be tough to get. But I think we can get it. All right, let's go. Let's talk about alpha. Let's bring alpha to the room here. So where are we? First of all, where are we? Yesterday, we were struggling to hold this 51,000 level. We were struggling to hold the 51,000 level. The fate of the entire stock market and the fate of the entire crypto market lay in the hands of Nvidia. And CNBC and CNN called this like the biggest events earning in the world. They called Nvidia the most important stock in the world. The expectations on Nvidia were that they were going to do 500% up on the previous year and 300% up in the revenue on their previous year. And I thought to myself, it sounds crazy. Those numbers sound absolutely crazy, but they did it. Not only did they do it, they beat the expectations. They beat the expectations. Their revenue beat is up 22% quarter on quarter, $22.1 billion of revenue versus the expected revenue of $20.4 billion. Their earnings per share also up. So they destroyed any analyst's expectations. And the result is, I'll tell you what the result is. The result is that the entire crypto AI sector is rallying like crazy. You got WorldCoin up 160% in the last 7 days, but 40% in the last 24 hours. 𝗖𝗙𝗏𝗧, which is one that we're invested in, Ali. 33.5% up. SingularityNet, 39% up. But you know what the big result is? The big result is that I'm burning like a mofo. I'm $51,000 down on this 𝗕𝗥𝗢𝗧 trade, and I am $18,000 down on this WorldCoin trade. And I made a huge mistake. I bet against Nvidia. Now, the truth is that this is the first bad trade that I've made in this bull market. It's the first trade where I am down, and it's the first time that I'm sweating in this bull market. I haven't sweated yet this bull market, and I'm sweating. You know why I'm sweating? Because I broke my own rule. The rule is that you don't go short in a bull market. Because if you do go short in a bull market, the risk return of going short in a bull market is just not worth it. And so I made a mistake, and I made a mistake because I got arrogant. I was making so much money on my other trades that I thought I had golden fingers and everything that I touched would turn to gold. And I got humbled. And now I've got to trade out of this, okay? So I've got to trade myself out of it. What am I doing? I'm waiting. The reason why I'm waiting is I want this AI hype to start dying down. And then I'm hoping that the AI narrative will start cooling down. And then I will hopefully be able to close these shorts, not at a $70,000 or $65,000 loss. Now, look, guys, we're transparent with you. I want to show you my wins and I want to show you my losses. That's why I'm showing you this entire portfolio. And right now I'm down, but I think it's a good lesson for all of us. Don't short in a bull market because the risk return is very much stacked against you. The second thing is, don't bet against Nvidia. And the third thing is, if you are in a hole, maybe let's see if we can get ourselves out of it. So that is where we're at. Let's look at, you know what the worst part about this? The worst part here is not that I'm down $51,000. That's like, I'm up majorly on this portfolio. You'll remember that this portfolio started at $50,000. It's worth $2.7 million today. It started in the last trading competition at $50,000. It's worth $2.7 million. So we have made a lot of money in this portfolio. So the worst thing here is not losing a little bit of money or losing for the first time. The worst thing is that while I'm losing, 𝗵𝗲𝗡 is celebrating. He's the one. Nvidia crashes through all-time high. Where are the bears? Where are those who leaned on it and panicked? Where are those who don't know who Chris and Jensen are? Like for the first time ever, this guy called it right. First time ever, 𝗵𝗲𝗡 is celebrating. So I'm burning while 𝗵𝗲𝗡 is celebrating. This is, for me, the worst part of this. Anyway, in the results yesterday, the CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, he basically came out and he said, accelerating computing and generative AI have hit the tipping point. Demand is surging worldwide across companies, industries, and nations. And he also says, conditions are excellent for the growth and demand far exceeds supply of the products. And that is why yesterday we made the show around how they can solve the demand problem for their products. And we spoke about all these decentralized compute platforms. And you can see that all the decentralized GPU platforms are now very much up. So you can see AI is up 31% in the day. Octaspace, 16.9. 𝗏𝗏𝗧, one of our favorite ones, 21.3. Nosana is at all-time highs. Also, one of our favorite players. I actually spoke to the team this morning. These guys are doing incredible things. They are up. Render up 23%. Just look at this render chart. Bang, Render is about to break its all-time high from the previous cycle. How many other tokens can put their hands on their hearts and say that's what they've been doing? Nosana is at all-time highs. How beautiful is this chart? How beautiful is this chart? Incredibly beautiful. By the way, if you want to trade or farm tokens on these AI narrative tokens, 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 is probably the best place to do it. I don't do LP staking. And I'll tell you why I don't do LP staking. The reason why I don't do LP staking is because every time I've done it, I've got this thing called impermanent loss. And I've never made money staking in LPs. Not on Uniswap V2, not on Uniswap V3. I've never made money on these LPs. But you know what you can do? You can go to 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 because they're so smart, that's why it's called 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏, that they turn impermanent loss into impermanent gain. No jokes. They've got a mathematical formula that turns impermanent loss into impermanent gain. You can also farm and get huge returns without, get this, without the impermanent loss. So these returns that you're getting are without the impermanent loss. So I would go and check this out. Also, you can go and trade and you can swap, like you swap on Uniswap on 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏. So if you do want to play these AI tokens, this is one of our sponsors. Go and do it. It's actually, they are an amazing platform. In fact, one of the best DEXs that I've ever used. Yeah. So where are we now? Well, Rekt Capital says, he says that this retest of 51,000 is still in play. Bitcoin has to hold this 51,000 level. We have to hold this level. There's just no other way to look at it. We have to hold this 51,000 level. We're struggling again. And I think the reason why we're struggling again is because of the ETFs. So yesterday was the first day where we got ETF outflows in a long time. And the reason why we got the ETF outflows is because Genesis is selling, you know, they got that court order where they could sell $1.8 billion worth of GBTC. So they're now selling. So we had a negative 88 actually for the first time. But I mean, just look here. We have Larry Fink and we have BlackRock hosting an institutional digital asset summit tomorrow. Just think about what this means. Like, when did you think that BlackRock would be hosting an institutional digital asset summit? This is where they're getting people to sign up to their ETF. So amazing to think that that's what's actually happening. Also, Bitcoin has hit all-time highs in many countries. So maybe it hasn't hit all-time highs in US dollars. But if you look at all these countries, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Turkey, Argentina, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ghana, Japan, Bitcoin has hit all-time highs in those currencies for those people. So let me know if Bitcoin has hit an all-time high in your currency. Also, we are now like 50 days away from the halving. No one's yet Googling around the halving. Retail's not paying attention. And we are 32.5% of the way in the bull market. That's where we are. But I can tell you that this bull market right now is all about institutions. This is not the retail bull market. The institutions are coming here, and what are they buying? They're buying Bitcoin. When the retail investors get here, that is when the real fun begins. That is when we go tilt on the altcoins. Because right now, all this buying is being done by the ETFs. It's BlackRock. They're bringing in their friends. And that is what is causing the buying. When you look at retail, let me show you some charts. So this is retail. You can see that retail hasn't even arrived in this bull market. This entire bull market has been powered by just some little bits of buying on the ETF. And so you can see that because they're buying Bitcoin and they're not buying altcoins. When you go to Banter Bubbles and you set your bubbles against the against Bitcoin, and you go to the 1 month view, you can see that a lot of the bubbles are actually red. A lot of the bubbles are actually red. Not many of them, except for the AI ones, especially the ones that are burning me today like crazy. Not many of them are actually green. And that shows you that it's not alt season yet. By the way, while we're on bubbles, just while we're on bubbles. Number one, if you want to win a Bitcoin, click here. Predict the price of Bitcoin on, what's wrong with you? Oh, predict the price of Bitcoin on the 15th of May. You need to have any Crypto Banter exchange account. Bybit, BitGet, OKX, and Evo. And we'll talk about Evo a bit later today. Open an account, trade. And if you open an account and do at least one trade, you will win one Bitcoin. We're giving away another Bitcoin. Also, I don't know if you guys use the newsroom, but let me tell you, this is the highest alpha per minute newsroom in the world right now. Just click on newsroom and watch the bubbles as the news comes out. So you can see the news is actually happening right here. So as I was saying, right now it's not alt season, because if it was, these bubbles would all be green. The alt season will come when retail actually come in. And what you can see right now is that it's coming. We're nearly at alt season. It's imminent. We just have to wait to see that the right metrics tell us that it's alt season. And what we'll do is we'll watch Coinbase app downloads, because we know that when retail come in, we will see a spike in Coinbase app downloads. Why would we see a spike in Coinbase app downloads? Because when retail come back, new retail investors come back, they will download Coinbase, the Coinbase app. When they download the Coinbase app, we will see that they're starting to come into the market. When we see them coming into the market, we'll know that that's the beginning of Altseason. So there is a Telegram bot, and we'll give you guys a link in the description which is for this Telegram bot. But what you can do is you can actually click and it'll tell you how many new downloads that they've got, etc., etc. And that'll be one indicator that shows us when it's Altseason. And as I say, I think it's very, very, very imminent. Like, someone said today, the Gaussian channel of altcoins has turned green. You know what that means. The ladder up is never without pullbacks, but we're in the bullish what the hell is that? 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. What is the 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓? Let's Google the word 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. Let's Google this. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. It's not a real word. It's not even a real word. Guys trying to write alpha, it's not even a real word. What kind of alpha is that? Crazy alpha. I think he meant territory. But okay. Anyway, right now we're in the bullish 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, guys. Let me know what 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 you guys are in. Okay. 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. What the fuck is a 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓? 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. All right, let's talk about what's going to happen when we actually get to Altseason. So guys, when we get to Altseason, it's going to be crazy here. It's going to be manic. It's going to be ridiculous. You're going to see spikes like you've never seen before. You're going to see jumps like you've never been before. And what's going to happen is you're going to be tempted. It's going to be very, very, very tempting to move from narrative to narrative, right? To follow the bees from narrative to narrative. To try and suck all the honey out of every single narrative. If you fall into this, if you become a victim of hopping from narrative to narrative, you will get wrecked. You will get stung by the bees. And I've seen it many, many times where people were jumping from one narrative to another narrative to another narrative to another narrative. That is the surest way of getting wrecked in this bull market. The best way to make money in this bull market is to early on in the bull market, choose the narratives that you want to play. Choose the narratives that you believe are going to be good. Then you take your money, you put your chips down, you put your chips on the narratives, and you sit back and you relax. And all you do is you take profits. That's all you need to do. It's less work. You'll make more money. And trust me, I've been here for 4 cycles, or 3 full cycles. And in those 3 full cycles, I've made all the mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes that I made was jumping from narrative to narrative. You know why? Because I was always late. Every time I thought I was early, I was always late. I caught the end of the pump. Bad. This time I'm adopting a different approach. My approach is the approach that you guys should be using. You should be selecting the narratives that you think are going to win in this bull market. You should be placing your bets, and then you should be chilling and enjoying the ride. And when everybody else is jumping from narrative to narrative, you say, been there, done that, not making that mistake. So in order to do that, if you want to do that, what you need to do is you need to choose the narratives, like I've done over here, and then you need to select 1 token or 2 tokens in each narrative. That's probably the easiest way to put a portfolio together today. What if you just selected the best narratives and chose 1 token per narrative? Simple. Take the best narratives. Here's some good narratives for you. Layer 1s, Layer 2s, oracles, liquid staking, DEXs, perpetuals DEXs, restaking, cross-chain protocols, AI, DePIN, gaming infrastructure, games, launchpads, GambleFi, memes, file storage, NFTs, privacy, and real-world assets. That's 20 narratives. You don't have to bet on all 20. But what if you just bet on these narratives and picked 1 token in each one? You'd basically have a bet on every number on the roulette. And any narrative that wins, well, you're playing. If you don't like some of these narratives, well, don't invest in those narratives. Let me show you the 20 tokens or the 40 tokens that I think are the best in each narrative. And let me know what you think of each one of my tokens. Let's start off with like the layer 1. So in the layer 1s, let me show you what I've done in the layer 1. So I chose Solana as my layer 1 best play for this cycle. And I think I'm gonna stick with that bet. I know how fast Solana is. I know the traction that Solana is getting. For me, Solana is the layer 1 bet. That's sober run. But if you're more degen, if you're like a crazy degen, people are saying make it bigger. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Here we go. So if you are a crazy degen, like a crazy degen, and you want something a little bit more degen, what should you go for? So I was debating, should I go for Injective or should I go for 𝗤𝗔? Injective is fast. It has all the right metrics. I mean, just look at all the metrics. It's lightning fast. It's cheap. It's interoperable. But then you got 𝗤𝗔. And 𝗤𝗔 is like, it's a new chain. And it's like a cross-chain protocol with smart contracts. It's almost like Rune, but with smart contracts. So I don't know, I'm torn. But I think what I'm going to do is, as much as I love Injective, the degen part of me is actually going to go for 𝗤𝗔. Now, I mean, if you want an outlier, Aletheum is a very cool one. And when I was thinking about this, I went through a whole lot of other ones. Like I thought of like Sui, I thought of Aptos, I thought of Neutron, which was also a very good one. I thought of Say, I thought of Injective. But ultimately, I decided on my bets are going to be on Solana and 𝗤𝗔. That's it. So that is my layer 1 bet. Next one is a layer 2 bet. You got to bet on layer 2s. And the layer 2 bet that I went for is actually a layer 2 on Bitcoin. I went with Stacks. That was the sober one. That was sober run. And again, why did I go with Stacks? Because I think that into layer 2s, building smart contracts on Bitcoin is a massive narrative. It's going to be one of the biggest narratives in this bull market. I think that there are a lot of devs that are starting to develop on Stacks. And you can see the Stacks is up 199% and their revenue is up 3,300%. My layer 2 bet, Stacks. My second degen layer 2 bet, Metis. There were other options. I mean, there is Arbitrum. I'm a big holder of Arbitrum. There's Starknet, which I do like the technology, but I think the tokenomics are terrible. I think they don't have a community, and I think that they are slightly overpriced, so I didn't go for any of those. All right, let's go into the next narrative. The next narrative for me is oracles. One of the most exciting narratives, specifically as we come to the world of real-world assets, you need pricing oracles. Now, look, here I was torn because, you know, obviously everyone's thinking Chainlink. And look, it's no surprise that everyone's thinking Chainlink because let me get to some Chainlink. It's all about real world assets. They've been around for longest. They've got the most network effects. But I'm also a big sucker for 𝗏. And 25% of the dApps already use 𝗏. So for me, I kind of thought, I don't know, Soberrun also liked 𝗏. But let's say Soberrun says Link, DGenRun says 𝗏. Then I went to another narrative which I love, which is liquid staking. I think liquid staking is going to be a big narrative in the cycle. I think it's already one of the best narratives in the cycle. And for me, when it comes to liquid staking, there's actually only one bet, and that's Stride. So why? Because of this. Because what you probably know is that Stride isn't priced the same way that Jito or Lido are priced. So I just want to show you something. So when I look at Stride, and I look at the fully diluted valuation of Stride, which, by the way, is a staking protocol on Cosmos, which is cross-chain. The fully diluted valuation of Stride is $387 million. Now go to Jito, and you will see that the fully diluted valuation of Jito is about $2 billion. There's a massive disconnect. The thing that the market's not seeing is that Stride is a liquid staking protocol on any Cosmos chain, or for any Cosmos chain, and Jito is a liquid staking protocol primarily for one chain, which is Solana. One is an optionality across multiple chains, and one is really a bet on one chain. When you put your money on Stride, you know that you're taking a bet on the entire Cosmos ecosystem. And you don't really care who wins, as long as some chains in the Cosmos ecosystems win, you win. And I mean, if you want to talk about fundamentals, I saw this meme, but it's actually true. They don't know that the Stride generates 6 times as much fees that Lido does on $1 of TVL. So for me, Stride is the winner here. And to be honest, there's no second best. Then we're going to go to DEXs, because DEXs is also a big narrative. Remember, crypto is all about trading, and we're going to get to the DEXs. So I chose 3 DEXs. The first one is Astroport. I mean, the reason why I chose Astroport is, one, because it is the biggest and most used DEX on Cosmos. And again, it gives you optionality in case one or many chains succeed. So unlike going on to Jupiter or Orca or one of those Solana-based DEXs, or even an Ethereum-based DEX, here you've got optionality on many chains. If Injective succeeds, 𝗥𝗙𝗡 wins. If Neutron succeeds, 𝗥𝗙𝗡 wins. If 𝗕𝗬𝗕 succeeds, the 𝗥𝗙𝗡 wins. If 𝗧𝗍 succeeds, 𝗥𝗙𝗡 wins. That's the optionality. That's why I love 𝗥𝗙𝗡. So my best DEX by far, 𝗥𝗙𝗡. My second best DEX is actually 𝗥𝗚. And the reason why I like 𝗥𝗚 is because it doesn't make sense that Jupiter has $5.4 billion fully diluted valuation, and the number one DEX on Solana only has a $365 million valuation. So for me, there's a mispricing here, and that's why I put my money onto 𝗥𝗚. Now listen, if you're a real degen, I found a DEX that actually trades airdrop points before the market. And that's Whales Market. We've spoken about it before. But if you're a real degen, maybe this is a very, very, very good DEX for you. And again, where did I choose from? The other ones that I liked, 𝗖𝗏, which is the DEX on lithium, and 𝗖𝗏𝗃, which is the DEX on SUI. So those were the other ones that I considered, but ultimately, bang, 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 I went for 𝗥𝗙𝗡, and the degen part of me went for 𝗥𝗚. Okay, now the next one is perpetuals DEXs. I'm a big fan of perpetuals DEXs, especially because as the regulation comes in, I think that the centralized exchanges are going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. They're not going to allow us to degen with leverage. And so what's going to happen? We're going to go to the decentralized exchanges because we're a bunch of degens and we ain't going to stop gambling for anybody. So what are my favorite bets when it comes to perpetuals DEXs? I mean, by far my favorite DEX is EVO. The reason why I like this is because look, it looks and feels like a centralized exchange, and they always trade tokens that aren't yet listed, right? They always trade tokens that aren't yet listed. So if you want to sign up for EVO, they're not even a sponsor actually. I just invested in them, to be honest. They're not a sponsor. Sign up over here. You will get a chance to predict the price of Bitcoin and win a full Bitcoin. You'll get into the Banter bags. If you subscribe to Banter and Banter Plus, you will get into the Banter bags, which is a huge, huge, huge giveaway. Can be millions and millions of dollars. And you can win one of our Apple Vision Pros, which we're going to start giving away on Monday. Okay, we just have to get the Apple Vision Pro, so we'll start giving it away on Monday. So EVO is my first bet. The second bet, also a good one, is Vertex. And I mean, DYDX, GMX, and GNS, those are the ones I was thinking about. But I went for Vertex and I went for EVO. And again, for me, it was all about usability. So look at the usability of Vertex. Again, these things feel like real exchanges. So like centralized exchanges. All right, so that's the end of the show today because I see we only got 1,440 likes. Unfortunately, we have to go. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, smash the like button if you want more. I'm going to wait. When we get to 1.5, we get the next calls. 1.6, we get the next calls. While I'm waiting, I'm going to look at my position, my burn. Still $50,000 down. This is such a terrible place to be. But don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. All right, let's carry on. Let's go. Let's move down our sheet. Restaking narrative. I'm going to start going a little bit quicker here because I'm cognizant of your time. Hold on, let me make it there. Okay, so let's look at the restaking narrative. I think the restaking is going to be a massive narrative in this bull market. What are the biggest restaking narratives? I guess Pendle you could call a restaking narrative. It's also an interesting play around separating the interest or the yield from the actual underlying asset. I think it's a very good one. Tenet and Prisma Protocol, those are the other two. That's where I would go. When it comes to cross-chain, I think that this is a massive, massive, massive narrative. And here, I've picked Rune, and I've actually picked 𝗥𝗙𝗧. And the reason why I picked 𝗥𝗙𝗧 is because it's a cross-chain protocol, primarily on the Cosmos chains, but also now moving to ETH and everything else. And they are growing and growing and growing, and they're flying under the radar. I mean, just look at their metrics. Up 252%, volume up 50%, connected chains, 46 chains. I think 𝗥𝗙𝗧 is very, very, very much a sleeping giant, which no one's talking about. Now, what were my other bets here? Zeta Chain and Stargate. I do like Layer 0, and I do like Stargate. So just wanted to let you know. Next narrative, AI. I mean, you kind of know what my bets are here. Render, of course, and BitTensor. Render because it is the king of GPUs. And of course, BitTensor, because I just think that they are, I think the craziest bet. The DJ inside of me saying, BitTensor is currently probably, I mean, Van Eyck called them the Bitcoin for machine intelligence, which is, I mean, I just think It's the one that you have to put some chips on. Remember, it's the more degen play. All right, let's go to decentralized physical infrastructure, DePIN, as it's known. It's a very hot narrative in this bull market. Here I've gone with Filecoin, and I've gone with Nasana. And I was talking about going with Akash, with Honey, which is the Hive Mapper token, Golem and Helium. But I stuck with Filecoin, and I stuck with Nasana. And we explained that yesterday in our show. Nasana is a very, very, very big player, or starting to be one of the good players when it comes to decentralized GPU, which I think is a huge problem. Filecoin, because I just think it's Filecoin's time now. I think people are starting to notice it, and they're starting to develop on it, and that's what's happening. How many likes? 2,160. Do we have to stop? Do we have to stop? All right, let's carry on. So gaming. I think gaming is an amazing, amazing, amazing narrative. Huge narrative. I think it's going to drive this bull market. I've broken up gaming into gaming infrastructure, games themselves, and gaming chains. When it comes for infrastructure, I've gone with Superfarm. And the reason why I've gone with Superfarm is because this announcement, first of all, I'm betting against 𝗬𝗓𝗘. I'm betting with 𝗬𝗓𝗘. I'm betting on 𝗬𝗓𝗘. Then this announcement, to realize the dream of unified gaming network, we've partnered with industry heavyweights, 0x, Polygon, 𝗍𝗏𝗡, build on Beam. We're also integrating into layer 0, wherever they lead. So basically, they're becoming like this unification platform for all Web3 gaming. And I just think you can't bet on 𝗬𝗓𝗘. And so I've gone with Superfarm, or Superverse, or Super, what are they? They changed the name now. But let's stick to Super. The other one that I've taken a bet on is Uncaged. And the reason why Uncaged is so good, I know the devs there. They're absolutely unbelievable. And they're about to launch their game. And they actually are a gaming studio. And they're going to launch a whole lot of other games. So for me, this is like one of the best ones. And that's what I've chosen. I mean, I could have gone with Nakamoto Games or PYR or Vulcan Forged. But those are the ones that I chose. Best games. So here, this was very, very, very hard. This was very hard. I would have said Heroes of Mavia. But the thing is, the valuation is so high. I would have said Pixels. But the valuation is so high. So I went with one that I think is going to shoot the lights out, and that's this Crown. It's called Crown. What it is, it's NFT horse racing, and it's almost as real as it gets. And I think that this one is going to do absolutely brilliantly. And so for me, this was the number one game. The second game that I've gone with is, you can also see that their metrics are very high. They've got people have spent over $1 million buying virtual horses. The second one that I've gone with is this one over here. Honeyland. So I've gone with Honeyland. Hasn't had a great day today, but I think if you look at the game and the usability, this one for me is absolutely amazing. So that's what I've gone with. The next one is gaming chains. So what are my favorite gaming chains? I think the number one has to be 𝗍𝗏𝗡𝗍. And then I was torn between 𝗧, Beam, and 𝗍𝗥𝗡. 𝗍𝗥𝗡, I don't think there's much upside. Beam is interesting. It's a subnet on Avalanche, but I decided to go for 𝗧. And 𝗧 I've gone on because it's actually a layer 3. It's a layer 2 on Arbitrum, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum. And so 𝗧 is the one that I've actually gone for. I think I had a very good tweet that explained it. I don't have the tweet, but it's a very, very, very cool layer 3 protocol. Then in bull markets, you have to have launchpads. Because you want to get into the early stage allocations. There's 2 ways for you guys to get into the early stage allocations. Number one, there's actually 3 ways for you guys to get into early stage allocations. Number one, buy a launchpad. Okay, that's the only way that you're going to get in. It's one of 3 ways. Buy a launchpad. What are my favorite launchpads? My number one is CDFI. You can see here. Here are all the new launches that are coming up on CDFI. They are one of the best performing launchpads. So to me, they were my number one bet. My number 2 bet was a new launchpad called MobiHQ. These are the 2. I mean, look, there are other ones that I really loved. I love Paid Network. I mean, I like Alex Becker's one, Bytes, so I really like that. But for me, S-Fund and the DJ inside of me said Mobi. So that's how you guys are going to get into early stage allocations. In fact, as I said, there's only 3 ways. If you're a retail investor, you can't get into early stage allocations. We can because we're in the media. You can't. So how do you get in? Well, either you buy the launchpad. That's option number 1. Or you take a chance and you win the banter bags. Because how do the banter bags work? I'll explain this to you. We get early stage allocations of tokens. We put them in the banter bags. When we get to 1 million subscribers on Crypto Banter, 350 subscribers on Banter Plus, 10 lucky winners who are subscribed to Banter, subscribed to Banter Plus, and have any exchange account from Crypto Banter will win. The catch is that you have to have the exchange account when you are chosen. Don't get caught out like 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗍, who wasn't subscribed to Banter Plus, and don't get caught out without a Crypto Banter exchange account, because if you do, we're not going to feel sorry for you. Even though I feel sorry for 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗍, and I'm going to make an exception today, just because I'm in a great mood. And I'm going to say that 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗍, I know you're a very valuable part of our community, and I'm putting you back into the Banter bags as long as you are subscribed to Banter and subscribed to Banter Plus. And remember, guys, I could choose a winner at any point in time. So that is the second way for you guys to get into sales. You know what the third way to get into IDO sales is? There's only three ways. One is you get into a launchpad, very hard. Two, you win the Banter bags. Three, you go and check out Commonwealth. Okay, because Commonwealth is not actually a launchpad, but it's a fund that allows you, the retail investor, to get into early stage allocations. So just go and check it out. There's a link below. It's called 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 So that's launchpads. Then I love the GambleFi narrative. And I guess for me, the winners here, 𝗨𝗏𝗏, and the number 2 is BetSwap. So 𝗨𝗏𝗏, I mean, I don't know if you talk too much about it. They're by far the market leaders. Their metrics are unbelievable when it comes to GambleFi. But I mean, if you look at their valuation, their valuation is super, super, super high. So here's 𝗨𝗏𝗏. The valuation is a fully diluted valuation of $365 million. So I mean, no, their valuation is much higher than this. Their valuation is much higher than this. It's much higher than this. I think the total max supply here is wrong. You can, okay, see, max supply is 5 billion tokens, so it would at least double that. So the valuation here is wrong. Their valuation is much, much, much higher than this. So I still love the token at this valuation. But if I look at BetSwap, which is one of our sponsors, and I'm not talking about them now because they're a sponsor. I'm talking about them now. Like, shit, I haven't put the link in. Okay, cool. Next one. Who unhighlighted all my cells here? This is so rude. Crazy. It's my team here. I know who it is. It's the Irishman. Don't worry, I'll catch him because he's got access to the spreadsheet. Okay, cool. The next one is a meme coin. So what are my favorite meme coins in this bull market? You got to have some exposure to memes. You can't fade the meme. So 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's the meme coin on Telegram. That's the one that I'm going for, and I'm very bullish on Telegram, especially with this tap competition, which you guys are all part of. I know you guys aren't tapping, and if you aren't tapping, there's a link below. Go and fucking tap like mofos, guys. Tap like mofos. �11𝗏, which is the meme coin on Stacks, is here we go. It's over here. Look at the price action here. You can't fade the meme coin on Bitcoin, which is the meme coin on Stacks. And then the next one, which I'm betting is 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗧, which is the Trump meme coin. And again, why? Because as the elections start to come up, this meme coin going to start flying. So that's my bet for meme coins. Then we move on. We've got 3 more, guys. Then we move on to file storage. I mean, I don't have to tell you, my favorite one here is 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗧. You can see the size of the weave is growing. They're also teasing this hyper-parallel computer living inside 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗧, which is launching on the 27th, which is in a couple of days. Huge. My second pick here is Crust, and this one I like because it's multi-chain or omni-chain. This is another one which I love. So if you're not degen, go 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗧. If you're very much degen, go Crust. I was going to go with ICP, but it's not strictly a file storage play. All right, then we go on to NFTs, and you got to take an NFT bet. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 or penguins are my best. Why do I go for penguins? Because these are the only guys that have managed to really execute bridging the real world with the NFT world. So you can see that these are the guys that are selling in Walmart, and they've got 10 million sales. After racking 10 million in total sales, Pudgy Penguins is expanding its presence in Walmart with a new line of NFT-inspired toys. So this is why I'm going with the penguins. Also because Fred loves penguins, and Fred's our guy. Privacy is a tricky one for me, but if you like privacy, I'm going with 𝗍𝗏 and I'm going with 𝗏𝗏 and maybe Tommy. So why 𝗍𝗏? Because these guys are I've looked at the dev, I've looked at the tech here. Fantastic tech. You can do smart contracts on 𝗍𝗏, which is private smart contracts, etc. 𝗕𝗏 recently launched their new privacy chain, privacy-centric L2 on Ethereum. And then Tommy, because of DOP, because of data ownership protocol. There's no data ownership protocol token, but the only token you can buy right now is you can buy Tommy. Lastly, the last narrative which I'm bullish on is real world assets. And my two bets here, Centrifuge and Ondo. I love Centrifuge because they are moving real world asset loans onto the blockchain. And that for me is huge. And they've already got great traction. And Ondo I like, but the problem with Ondo is the valuation's too high. So I'm not degening into it. So those are my top 20 narratives and one coin for each narrative. And the truth is, all you need to do if you want to make life-changing money in this bull market is decide how much you want to allocate to each one of these narratives. So let me show you something. All I did was, I started to say, okay, depending on how bullish you are on each narrative, allocate money. So for example, I'm very bullish on layer 1s. So I've put 10% into layer 1s, put 10% of your portfolio into Sol. I'm not as bullish on layer 2s, so I've put 5%. Bullish on Oracle, 7.5%. Bullish on liquid staking, but I'm putting it all into Stride. Bullish on decentralized exchanges, 5%. Bullish on perps exchanges, 5%. Bullish on restaking, but I think that this is the first restaking cycle. So I'm not going crazy on it, 2.5%. Going crazy on cross-chain because I know how amazing it is. Then I'm going quite big on AI, quite big on DePIN, quite big on gaming. And you can see I've just allocated between 10% and 2.5% on every single one of these, right? And the total is that I've got a portfolio with 100% by putting one, or if you want, 2 tokens in each. That's all you need to make life-changing money in this bull market. So now what we're going to do today is we're going to publish this spreadsheet. And tomorrow we're going to what I'll do is maybe even later today, let's try and make a Google form where people can put in their questions in each one of the narratives and we can actually build this portfolio. So if someone can build us a Google form, Josh, can you build us a Google form? Josh will build us a Google form. And then you guys can fill it in and then I'll display some of the people's portfolios here. So Josh, have what's your name? What's your best pick in layer 1? What's your best pick in layer 2? What's your best pick in layer 3? Capture it all into a sheet like this. And that way we'll start featuring you'll fill it in when it comes. There'll be a link below in like half an hour because that's how long it's going to take Josh to build a spreadsheet for us. Because I didn't actually have that idea before the show. I just had the idea now. Then tomorrow we'll start just getting random people from the community and we'll showcase your picks next to my picks. And we'll see who's going to win. Anyway, I'm going to timestamp my picks so we can see how well you've done. And I'm going to make these 2 ETFs on Swissborg. I'm going to do a sober run and a degen run ETF on Swissborg. Not called an ETF, it's called a bundle. And you'll be able to invest with one click of one button. What do you think, guys? I mean, I think today was a very alpha-filled show and really showed you how to make life-changing money by just picking one token in each of the best narratives. And my best advice to you is don't follow the bees because you're going to be late. You're going to be late. Don't follow the bees. Do not follow the bees. Do not follow the bees. Take your bets now, sit back, and enjoy the ride. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Hustle and I are building the ultimate gaming portfolio. Don't miss it. I'll see you there. Until then, trade well, my friends.